In 2017, the NBA would come up with their own award show, something that they really had never done. It was similar to the NFL Honors. You had a bunch of people coming together to celebrate some of the best players in the NBA. Unfortunately, in 2019, because of the COVID virus, this would end. And well, the pandemic kind of already ended, but they really haven't picked it back up. And since I kind of enjoyed the NBA awards, I was like, you know what, let me do my own version. So I've gathered 6 other NBA creators, including myself, to present these awards. But it's gonna be a little bit different. Now, before we get started, let me explain how this is gonna work. For each award, I decided that I was gonna do a fan vote and a media vote. Every single one of us YouTubers put a poll out for our respected award that we would be presenting. And then we had the quote-unquote media vote, which was just us YouTubers doing a poll. Also, we wanted to do this right before the playoffs start because I think some people are going to base these awards differently when the playoffs end. And quite frankly, I just don't think people will care if we did this video in June or July. But as far as that goes, that's really all you need to know. I do want to say I've never done anything like this before. I've never done a big collab. This is arguably the biggest project in the NBA community this year. Now, to get things started, I want to bring on NBA Nerd to present the Clutch Player of the Year award.
When we think about certain NBA players at certain moments, you often wonder if they have the clutch gene, an ability to carry the team and will them to victory in the final seconds of a game. Players like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving, and Damian Lillard, just to name a few, they have the ability like no other to take matters into their own hands and close out games by themselves. Over the years, we have seen many players have the clutch gene and have that kind of mentality, and with the new NBA award named the Clutch Player of the Year, it makes us wonder who deserves it this year. While there are many players who definitely deserve it, my pick for this year's award goes to the Sacramento Kings point guard De'Aaron Fox. He has been phenomenal this year with his leadership and his offensive talents, and with the Kings finally making it to the playoffs after the 17 long year drought, that is most definitely due to Fox's ability to close out games. He currently leads the league in clutch shooting, and he has the most total points in the fourth quarter. He has definitely earned the title as King of the Fourth Quarter this year for his amazing play. While there have been other players who have been clutch this year statistically, DeMar DeRozan, Donovan Mitchell, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just to name a few, he most definitely deserves this award, and he's the flat-out front-runner. As a De'Aaron Fox fan myself, I finally think it is time for people to recognize that this guy is the real deal, and hopefully they are able to do something in the playoffs this year. But nonetheless, my pick for this year's award goes to De'Aaron Fox because he has been amazing this year.
So there you go. The first ever Clutch Player of the Year award is going to go to De'Aaron Fox. Now, out of all of the awards, this was the only award where we didn't really have any other finalists because De'Aaron Fox was the clear runaway winner. Hence why you didn't see a poll for this award. The next award that's going to be announced is the Most Improved Player of the Year. To announce the Most Improved Player of the Year, I brought on Xavier.
Most Improved Player. What is a Most Improved Player? What's a player? Hopefully by now you know what a player is. If you don't, that's like a whole another issue. The Most Improved Player, well, is the most improved player who takes the biggest jump from year to year. And this year might be one of the most interesting races in the past couple years because we have 3 amazing finalists who took huge jumps. We have people like Jalen Brunson, who's been leading the Knicks to success this year. We got people like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I thought I was going to say that wrong. And we got people like Lauri Markkanen, who's been the face of Utah all year. And for the Most Improved Player award, it really should not be a surprise. Unless you live under a rock, then you would not know about the all-star out of Utah, Lauri Markkanen. And Lauri Markkanen is the clear winner, but I do want to give a little respect to the other candidates. Jalen Brunson went from a maybe role player on the Mavericks who did good in the playoffs to going to the Knicks and becoming a god, literally. And then for arguably the runner-up, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went from an all-star level player, maybe a star, to a superstar and top 3 point guard in the league. But what we're seeing out of Lauri Markkanen has never been seen before. This is either the longest Linsanity run of all time or just the birth of the star he was always supposed to be. In the 2021 to 2022 season, Lauri Markkanen was averaging 15, 6, and 1 on 44% shooting, which isn't bad for a role player, but he's no longer that in any way, shape, or form. Even if we take Lauri Markkanen's best season, which would be the 2018 to 2019 season, where he averaged 19, 9, and 1, it still doesn't even remotely compare to what Lauri Markkanen is doing this season as the star player of Utah. This season, Lauri Markkanen has jumped to 26 points per game on 50% from the field, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. That is legitimately all-star level number. And I mean, he was an all-star this year. He was an all-star starter this year. And with the Most Improved Player, we go from the most recent year to the year now. And when we look at the stats side by side, he beats every single stat except for like steal, and that's by 0.1. Lauri Markkanen is the clear Most Improved Player. He went from a clear role player who came off the the bench sometimes to being the clear starter who can get you clutch points, flashy dunks, and some of the craziest highlights we've seen this year have been from Lauri Markkanen. If somebody told you a couple years ago that Lauri Markkanen would be one of the most versatile athletic big men in the league who can score 30 to 40 at will, you would have been called crazy. But now it looks like a reality. Lauri Markkanen is your 2023 most improved player.
From the most improved player of the year award, we go to the coach of the year. And to announce the coach of the year award, I brought on Tooforwon, the same guy that makes 4-hour videos. Seriously, Tooforwon, what the hell?
Hello Spexters, this is Tooforwon filling in for the Coach of the Year award, which, by the way, some of my fans have voted on. And yeah, these are the candidates that I chose, and I'll get into why I chose these candidates. By first talking about the candidates I did not choose, and that I'm pretty sure a lot of people would think, yeah, they should be up there. Now, Mike Malone, it's no secret that he's had a great season with the Denver Nuggets, first seed in the West, and I'm pretty sure Jokic might win his third MVP. And honestly, that's why he's not in the competition, because Jokic, he's literally a two-time MVP. And Mike Budenholzer, same thing with him. I know people are going to say he has the best record in the NBA, but Giannis is a two-time MVP, and he's in the MVP conversation. He's an NBA champion. Like, he's also won 2 Coach of the Year awards. Yeah, don't forget about it. He won a Coach of the Year in Milwaukee, but he also won it when he was Atlanta Hawks coach in 2015. And by and large, this award will reward the fresh faces, right? The ones that haven't won yet. And Tom Thibodeau, you won 2 Coach of the Year awards already. You're not in this anymore. I'm sorry. I knew you had a great season too. And now for the actual candidates, which, by the way, we're not going to list our criminal past here. Joe Mazzulla, the head coach of the Celtics, hasn't missed a beat since Udoka. There was a whole scandal with him. And of course, the drawbacks with him as a candidate is that the Celtics were already a final team last year, and they're not as good as they were last season. If you remember, last season they were better. And Jack Vaughn, another candidate that I'm going to really consider here, because he came off a mess in Brooklyn. Steve Nash getting fired after reaching a 2-5 record. Okay, Kyrie Irving getting suspended for posting that link to that controversial movie. I mean, it was just a mess, and he had to come in and it really, turn things around. But unfortunately, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving getting traded to their respective teams, that took the fire out of his candidacy, because of course now people are going to say Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were the reasons why they turned the ship around. They ended up winning so many games. But honestly, you can make a great case for Jack Vaughn being Coach of the Year. But I think he still has a better case than Mazzulla, because what has he done since? He's actually had this Nets team play so good. Mikal Bridges being now their star player, they managed to retain a playoff spot. And Mike Brown, the last candidate, the narrative with him was he was a fallen angel. He went from basketball paradise in Golden State to basketball hell in Sacramento. And, he already won the Coach of the Year award too in 2009. So why is his name even floated as a candidate? Well, don't you see what they've done with him as a head coach? He's lit a fire under these guys, playing an offense that has really propelled this team to a 3rd seed in the West, having recently ended a 17-year drought, a league high 17-year drought, not making the playoffs. Mike Brown is your 2023 NBA Coach of the Year. It's been decided not just by me, but by, you guys, the fans.
Thank you, Tooforwon, for not making this a whole hour about why Mike Brown should have won the Coach of the Year. Now I want to transition into a pretty special award, one that I'm always keeping up with, and that is the Rookie of the Year. And to present the Rookie of the Year, I brought on DJ Stevo.
What's good, people? It's your boy DJ Stevo, and it's time to announce who this year's Rookie of the Year winner is. Shout out to everyone who casted a vote, and especially my guy Spex. Make sure you leave a like for my boy. With the votes that were tallied up, this year's Rookie of the Year winner is Paolo Banchero from the Orlando Magic. Paolo has been the best young rookie prospect from preseason to the last week of the regular season, putting up 20 points per game while adding in 7 rebounds and nearly 4 assists per game. He's top 5 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals amongst his entire class, and it doesn't just stop there. Outside of just numerical statistics, Paolo has been a part and a huge reason why the Orlando Magic have gone from winning 22 games last year to over 34 wins this season. Paolo, at his size, has shown a versatility as a big man, as a scorer on a low block, and as a driver, and has shown some flashes as a soon-to-be great playmaker for others that has also helped his teammates flourish offensively. Paolo will be amongst respective Rookie of the Year winners Luka Doncic, Blake Griffin, Larry Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan as the only players to average over 19 points, 3.5 assists, 6.5 rebounds per game in their debut season. In regards to the other nominees, Jalen Williams and Walker Kessler, they both had exceptional seasons that can't go underlooked. Jada for OKC was one of the most efficient players in his class this season while exhibiting his two-way capability that boasted the Thunder to having an unexpected positive season. And Walker Kessler for the Utah Jazz had huge shoes to fill in the offseason trade that shipped Rudy Gobert to Minnesota, but he's been one of the best young rim protectors this season while showing his touch around the rim to finish effectively. Low-key, who needs Rudy anymore? But in all seriousness, guys, these guys were good. But Paolo has just been better for the majority of this season. He's not perfect, of course, and has some work to do with his efficiency from the field. But from what we've seen this season, he's for sure the clear Rookie of the Year. Again, shout out to my guy Spex for having me, and of course, stay on beat.
The Rookie of the Year race was very tight. There were a lot of candidates, kind of like the Defensive Player of the Year race. So to announce the Defensive Player of the Year, let's bring in the leader of GCM, WillSoTrill.
Defensive Player of the Year. As a defense enthusiast, I had to announce this award, so thank you Jimmy High Roller for letting me make an appearance on your second channel. But let's talk about these three candidates for this award. First off, Jaren Jackson Jr., the current betting favorite to win DPOY. He is the best defender on the team that had the best defense in the league this year. Obviously, he has some of the best shot impact numbers in the league. The Memphis defense is significantly better with him on the court, and he led the league in blocks, which is going to move a lot of voters. Now, the player who is second in blocks per game is Brook Lopez, who's had a sensational year, especially on defense. Now, he must have had God himself do his back surgery, because I have never seen a player come back like this before from a damn back injury. Milwaukee finished as a top 3 defense. Brook Lopez was the anchor of that defense, but Brook's case does get weaker for this one reason, and that's that Giannis Antetokounmpo is the final candidate is on his team. The best help defender in the league, possibly the best in history, and what is scary about Giannis's defensive shot impact numbers being so insane this year is that the effort level from him this season was pretty low if we're being honest. He completely coasted through the season and still managed to be one of the best defenders in the world. That's how good he is at this shit, man. What Giannis has over Brook is his defensive versatility, just being able to step into any role that he wants to on that end while playing it at the highest level. You cannot take advantage of Giannis defensively. There is zero weakness there. But what does the ballots have to say? The 2023 Defensive Player of the Year award is going to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Shout out to the Greek freak, but let me just say this, man. These are 3 incredible candidates. Even Bam Adebayo could have easily been in this conversation, but we can all agree, these dudes are light years ahead of those 2 frauds that finished top 2 last year, especially that degenerate flopper that won that fake-ass award.
We go from the Defensive Player of the Year to arguably one of the most important awards an NBA player can receive. A role that is so vital for any team if they want to win an NBA title. And to talk about the Sixth Man of the Year award, I brought on the Basketballescape.
As for the Sixth Man of the Year award, this was and will be a very close race with a couple of extremely deserving candidates. However, in this case, the award did go to Boston Celtics guard Malcolm Brogdon. Perhaps Brogdon's biggest competition in this award race was Immanuel Quickley, so let's look at their stats head to head. As we can see from some of the raw counting stats, Malcolm Brogdon pretty much leads Immanuel Quickley across the board in some important stat categories. Although he may lead by a small amount, he still does get the nod all around in a very close race. Focusing more on why Brogdon has won this award in this specific situation, for Brogdon to have won the Sixth Man of the Year, we most likely have to consider that Brogdon has the most points off the bench in total with 1,000 points. He's also top 5 in total assists off the bench and first among finalists. He also plays a key role in the second best team in the league record-wise and arguably the best team in the league. Finally, he leads all the final candidates in true shooting percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentages. All in all, Malcolm Brogdon is definitely deserving of the Sixth Man of the Year award in a very close race this year, while he contributes top scoring and a well-rounded, efficient game to one of the best teams in the league. I hope you guys can have a great rest of your day. I'm out. Peace.
To finish off the award show, we're going to be talking about the most important award, the MVP. This season, the Most Valuable Player of the Year award was a very close race. We had about 3 guys overall for a majority of the season that were really in the running. We had Nikola Jokic, the guy who's won it back-to-back times and could possibly win it for a third. We got Joel Embiid, a guy that is always in the race but is just so close and yet does not win it. And finally, we have Giannis, a guy who is always seemingly playing like an MVP candidate but might actually have some merit to his case this year. And the winner of the 2023 Most Valuable Player of the Year award goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is going to shock a lot of people, but honestly, it makes sense. First off, the Bucks are the best team in the NBA as far as standings go, but if you also break it down, I would argue that Giannis is the biggest reason why the Bucks have been so dominant. There's a reason why WillSoTrill talked about it earlier that Giannis is a really good defender, and that defense helped the Bucks become one of the best teams in the league. We also need to look at the fact that Giannis was missing a lot of his teammates for a majority of of the year, yet he still carried the Bucks as much as he could. And I know some people might say, oh, but he missed a bunch of games. Yeah, well, so did all the other candidates. And it is for these reasons why Giannis is your 2023 most valuable player. And that right there will be the final award of the 2023 NBA YouTube Award Show. I want to give a shout out to all the creators that participated in this award show and helped me put this together. This is a project that's been in the work for the past 1 to 2 months, and this is something that I've been really excited to do. Now I know some people might complain about the voting, so that is why I'm going to try, keyword try, to make a spreadsheet of all the voting. I said this in the intro, I believe, but we had a panel of people. These were just the people who announced the awards, and then we had the fans vote on each of our respective channels. And finally, if you guys want to see me do this next year bigger and better than ever, then comment in the comment section below. Also, let me know who I should have on next year.